right, everybody, we're working on our Game Maker game. It's part of the Game Maker Q&A. And what I want to cover now is creating a nice looking graphical display for our game. So what we're going to do is we're going to represent the number of lives graphically using a sprite. And we're going to represent how much health they are using a health bar and animating that as well as what their score is. So we're going to deal with this one at a time. The first thing we want to do is create, let's create a little sprite of our hero to represent how many lives our hero has. So we're going to go ahead to sprite. We're going to create a new sprite. We want to load it. Now, we got a couple options here. You could create a graphical representation of lives, or you could simply get, for example, your hero sprite and shrink them a little bit. So I use the sprite right here. So I'm going to call this sprite lives, and I'm going to edit my sprite by shrinking him. So we go to transform, and I want to stretch. At this point, we'll do about 50% view. He's nice and tiny. He represents lives. SPR lives. Click OK. Let's go back to our game controller. It's going to be our game controller that's going to work it. So in here, what we're going to do is we're going to create an event, and this event is going to be called draw. Now remember, this is something that happens in the game. And in the game, we have step, which does all the calculations, and then we draw. And the draw is going to basically draw everything on the screen. It's going to handle all of our existing sprites. But here, we want to add an additional sprite. So what we are going to do is we're going to draw what's called the live images. We go to score, and you're going to notice on score, health, and lives, we have draw score, we have draw lives, draw life images, and we have draw health. So we're going to go ahead and do draw life images. And for now, we're going to just try something here. We're going to check relative. And we're going to put an X of 300, a Y of 4. We're going to select our sprite lives. And we're going to click OK. And let's go ahead and run this and see what it looks like. Okay, we're in our room. We click on play, and uh-oh, it's not there. Okay, hold on. Let's figure out what's going wrong. First of all, before we go any further, guys, I want to point out that it's going to draw where we put on here relative. That's going to be relative to where we place our game controller object in the window. So let's see where we placed it so we can adjust where we draw it. And that might be what's going on with the problem. Also, it may be if this controller is invisible, it may mean we can't see the lives. So I'm going to go ahead and make it visible and test that out first of all to see if that's what was going wrong. All right, I just ended the game. I got to rerun that. But if you notice, there's a little sprite on there. I'm going to click yes. I want to play. When I checked it as visible, you will now see that those sprite dudes are right there in the corner. So let's go back, figure out where we placed it in the room. Game controller. Sorry, we got to go to room 1. I put the game controller there. We should probably move it over to the other side. And just know that wherever we place it, that's where we want to put our screen, where we want to set it. So I moved it over to the left. We'll test it out and see if it shows. And there's my sprite. So it's 300 pixels away from where I put the controller, so we're going to want to adjust that. Okay, so I go back to the game controller, draw the lives as images, and since we put it in the corner, we may want to just put it 10 pixels off to the right of that. And notice now We just keep adjusting everything based on where we want to put it. Okay, so that's drawing the lives. Now we need a caption for this, so we're going to create that, and we're probably going to need to readjust where we put the sprites. To create any text on the window, you're going to need to create a font object. So go to the font tree, create a new font, and we'll call this, we'll just put font underscore, and we'll put SLH for score lives health. Or actually, yeah, it doesn't really matter. So we put that as the font. We choose the font that we want. So for now, I'll just do it Arial Black, size 12. We don't need to set it as bold. That's what it looks like. I'm going to click OK. Now, when we draw, what we want to do is we want to also draw the, we want to set the font. So that's under Draw. So there it is, Settings. I'm going to set font to that font SLH for score health and lives. We're going to click OK. So now we've set that font. Okay. Okay, we set the font. Let's go ahead and set the color. I would use this setting here, drag it over, and pick a color. For now, we're just going to make it red. Click OK. Click OK. So we've set the color. And now we're going to do our caption. And for that, under drawing, we do draw text. Drag it over. The text, we're going to say lives. We're going to check relative. In this case, we're going to put 10. And I'm going to click OK. But I'm going to go back to our draw the lives as image. And instead, we're going to put maybe 80. That's going to be 80 pixels off. And the Y of 4, so I should probably see how that relates. Let's go ahead and test it out. Click on play. There it is. See, it says lives. It's got my 3 live characters. If I want them a little bit closer, I just adjust it through the setting. Where we draw the lives as images, we can try, for example, 75. Click OK. Save your changes before you do too much work because you don't want to lose the work that we've done. As soon as it's done loading, we click play. And our little live sprites are a little closer. I might change it to 70. I think that would be good. And I'm just going to call it good there for now. Click OK. All right, so now we've drawn our lives. We have a caption. And let's go ahead and draw our score as well. And that goes back to score right here. Draw score, check relative. It already has a caption for it. So on here, we're going to put 100. I'm going to click OK. We're going to test that one out. Here we go. Now, notice the score is overlapping the live, so I'm going to have to change that as well. So on draw, where is it? Draw the value of score. Let's put that at about 150 and see what that looks like. The other text was offset by 4, so we're going to do that as well and test it out. Click on play. Score's down a little too low. I'm going to bring that up, get rid of that 0. And I don't like the fact that the 0 got cut off. Set that to 0. Click OK. Another one we should do is health bar. So we drag out the health bar. Now, we're going to have to set the height and width of our object. So I'm going to try 225, y1 of 0, and then the x2 should probably be about, I don't know, 325, so it's 100 pixels wide. y2 of about 50. You probably don't need that much. Let's try 35. Background color, we can do, for example, white. And we can go from green to red. Click OK. Before I change it, let's make it so when we collide with the spider, we don't lose 50 health, but we lose, for example, 20 health. So we can watch that health bar change as we go. We run again to test it out. There's our health bar. Watch the health go down. There we go. And as you see, you can see the health bar going down as I'm running away. Oh, there we go. Game over, man. All right. So at this point, we have that set. You can adjust, for example, in this controller, on the health bar, you might want to have a background color instead of white, maybe red or something like that. And then just play around with it. Play around with your settings. And at this point, you should be able to draw a heads-up display. In my next tutorial, I'm going to talk about how to do using GameMaker language and multiplayer game. Stay tuned for that video.